But basically, yeah, I'm gonna review the week of comics. There's some comics that came out last week I didn't talk about on the channel, so I'm going to talk about them here. And yeah, hopefully it's a fun stream. I'm going to get started in a few seconds. I just need to check a few things before I do. Right. So everything's fine, it looks like. So, yeah. Right. The books that came out this week. I'm going to start off with Amazing Spider-Man number 61. Written by Nick Spencer, art by Patrick Gleason. The artwork in this is amazing, by the way. I love Patrick Gleason's art. I loved it when he was on the book doing the Doom storyline, which was, the storyline itself was horrible, but the artwork is amazing. I love Patrick Gleason's art, but the story itself, it seems to be going back in the direction of stuff that has nothing to do with Kindred, which I don't like those storylines as much as the storylines that are progressing the Kindred storyline. So I want to get back to that as soon as possible, but this Kingpin stuff, the stuff regarding the new suit, so I don't like the design of the new suit. I think it looks cool being drawn by Patrick Gleason, but the cover art doesn't do it any favors. But yeah, I didn't like this issue as much as I've been liking Amazing Spider-Man up to this point. I really liked Last Remains. I really liked the Sins Rising storyline. But this is going back into the stuff that I didn't like about Nick Spencer's run, and that I don't like about Nick Spencer's run. And I just want it to get back to the really interesting, cool stuff. Because when Nick Spencer's Spider-Man is at its best, it is one of the best books coming out at Marvel. But when it's at its worst, it's really bad. Next up, we've got Deadpool Nerdy 30. Deadpool Nerdy 30 is the 30th anniversary of Deadpool. The book isn't really interesting at all. You don't need to buy it. If you're a huge Deadpool fan, sure, get it. It's okay, it's fine, but it's not really. It's a series of it's an anthology series. It's an anthology book. It's a load of short stories that really have nothing to do with each other. It's just different ways that Wade Wilson has celebrated his birthday, and it's kind of a terrible 30th anniversary issue. And I don't know if it's because it's Deadpool that I didn't like this, but I like Deadpool when he's written well. I like it when it's like the Jerry Dugan run. I was even liking the Scotty Young run, but this felt rushed. It felt really poor, and also I find it funny how Deadpool has I feel like Marvel was like, we're coming up to the 30th anniversary of Deadpool. We don't have a Deadpool book going out at the moment. We cancelled him a few weeks ago before his 30th anniversary, which I find funny. And it's like, let's just rush to get this one-shot book out. And it feels really poor. It's really quite bad. I really wanted to enjoy it because I like Deadpool as a character. I feel like a 30th anniversary issue, it should be something big or a celebration of the character. And this didn't feel like either. This just felt like some one and done stories that really that could have been the backup, or could have been like a one shot in a Deadpool series. Not even like a good Deadpool series, like just any old Deadpool series. It didn't feel like an anniversary issue. That's just my take on it. Next we got Eternals number 3, by Kieran Gillen, art by Asad Ribic. I loved this. I've been loving Eternals for the longest time since it started back in issue 1, and then basically I love Asad Ribic's art. I loved it on Secret Wars. I love it in this. I loved it when he was doing the covers on Fantastic Four. He's a really good artist, and he knows how to draw anything. He has that kind of art style where it feels both really under-detailed, but it's also really beautiful. Like it feels like a painting. It feels like every page is like a painting. And when he does the big splash pages, they're some of the best comic book art that you will ever see. And I'll get some panels up when I come to edit this and put this on YouTube. But yeah, I've been really liking Eternals so far. This issue is kind of just Cersei and Thena butting heads because Cersei thinks Thena is behind Zuras's death, and there's some stuff going on with Icarus as well that doesn't really make sense, but it's still interesting. He's kind of gone to Earth to find this boy who he said, I'm going to protect you from something that's coming. I don't know what that something is, but it's something and it's coming. And I think it's really cool. I thought that the book is doing a really good job at, distributing time between all of these characters, because there's a lot of characters and they're not all in the same room at the same time. So it's doing a good job of making you care about every protagonist, and every character feels like they're getting an equal role to play. It's a really good book. It's damn good. And anyone who isn't reading Eternals, this is the perfect jumping on point. Because there's only 3 issues. You don't need to, know anything else going in. And they've got a movie coming out. So if you want to catch up for the movie, then this is kind of the perfect way to do it. This is the perfect way to kind of get into the movie, or to get caught up, or to learn about these characters before the movie comes out. And I feel like now, how this book is going and how this book has been, I really like where it's going, and I hope this lasts. I hope this is an ongoing that lasts a while, because it's been really good. Next up, we've got King in Black, Captain America, written by Danny Law. And I looked at the writers, not the writers, I looked at the artists on this, and there's 3. There's 3 different artists, and I didn't feel like there was any change throughout the artwork. So that either shows that they're all really similar and you only needed one, or it's a printing issue. I feel like it's all that the artists all had a similar art style, or they all like collaborated with each other and they all like worked on each other's drawings, which that is really cool, but we don't need it. We don't need 3 artists to be working on a one-shot. But as far as one-shots go, this is damn good. It's really interesting to see Captain America be put in this position where basically this book takes place after King in Black issue 3. So Captain America has been possessed by Null and has now just like not Eddie Brock, Dylan Brock has kind of reversed the possession. So Cap is no longer possessed, but he still has the voice at the back of his head, like telling him, "You're not good enough, you're not worth it. Remember what happened in Secret Empire? Yeah. Bet you feel bad about that, don't you?" Well, it's not exactly saying, "Remember what happened in Secret Empire," but it's insinuating that, and it's basically Null trying to knock Cap's confidence, and it works. It works throughout the entire book until the end. And there's a really good moment where Bucky is like, "You don't have to worry about voices in the back of your head. I've been dealing with that for the last decade now. I've been dealing with that since I came back." So that's a really good moment. And this book is just, it's really cool to see Captain America do cool stuff, but also put in this position where we've kind of never seen him before, where he does have this voice at the back of his head that is kind of this like entity, for lack of a better word, just telling him he's not good enough, and basically saying no matter what happens, someone's always going to be let down by the Shield. Which I love stories where Captain America is actually tested, and this issue feels like a big test for Captain America, and I loved it. I loved it. I love the artwork. I love the story. It's not necessary. You don't need to read it, but I'd say if you're reading Captain America at the moment, and you want to see how Cap is dealing with King of Black, this is a really good issue for you. It's not necessary, and I'm glad that I picked it up because it's a really good story that I probably wouldn't have read if I wasn't reading Captain America. But yeah, I liked it. I really liked it. Next up we have Thunderbolts, which is necessary. Not because it directly is going to affect what happens in King of Black, it probably won't, but it is probably going to tie into its own book. And it's also amazing. It's written by Matthew Rosenberg, who always delivers. I don't think there's been a single Matthew Rosenberg book that hasn't been, above average. And the artwork by Juan Ferreira is also really damn good. So this is basically the conclusion of this Thunderbolts team that Kingpin has put together to basically, he's put them on a suicide mission to find the remains of Sentry, who got killed by Null in King of Black issue 1, and basically just throw them at Null and hoping that they explode and they act like a big sun bomb and kill Null. They don't do this. They basically just go to Kingpin, say, you sent us on a suicide mission, fuck you, but we still want to work for you. And you need to pay us double what you were paying us before. Why they don't just kill him, I don't know. Like, he's going to keep sending them on suicide missions, but it does leave off to where there's going to be a Thunderbolts book. I think that's where this leaves off. And they do have Mr. Hyde, Grizzly, and, you know, other D-list characters join the team at the end. Which is really cool, and I'm really excited to see if there is a Thunderbolts book after this, where it goes. The only thing that I'm disappointed with Thunderbolts with is Rhino was at the front and center of Thunderbolts number 1, and halfway through Thunderbolts number 1, he just ups and leaves. I thought that was going to be a really cool moment where they would have Rhino be like the center of this team, but no, it's like this is basically a Taskmaster book with all the other characters being side characters. But yeah, I really liked Thunderbolts, if you haven't already noticed, and I've liked Thunderbolts, not just this book. I've liked the team, the Thunderbolts team, for forever. I think it's a genius idea, and I want them to get a movie. But yeah, Thunderbolts, King in Black, amazing. Go out and read it. If it comes into a trade, read it when it's in trade, because it is genuinely amazing. The final book that I'm going to talk about is the weirdest one. Non-stop Spider-Man. I've started with Spider-Man, I'm going to end with Spider-Man. And I didn't like this. I'm going to keep reading it because I'm going to leave it till issue 3. But I didn't like this. And I think that's mainly because of Chris Bachalo's art. I don't like Chris Bachalo's art when it's not Doctor Strange. When it is Doctor Strange, it works. Because he excels at that weird, kind of not realistic looking art style. And when it's not that, when it's something that has to look like grounded and like realistic, like Spider-Man, when it's a street level character, I don't think Chris Bachalo's artwork works for that. It worked for Kelly Thompson's Deadpool run because that was on Monster Island. It worked for Doctor Strange because his art style is perfect for that kind of thing. It doesn't work for this. It just doesn't. And it's not bad, it's just not, it doesn't work for me. The story itself is standard Spider-Man fare. I don't know what makes this non-stop. You know, I can't wrap my head around why this needs to be its own thing. Why can't this be the story that's going on in Spider-Man at the moment? Why does he have the regular suit? Why does this need to be a mini-series or a new ongoing? Because apparently this is going to be a new ongoing. I don't know how they can fit this premise as a new ongoing book, and I don't think it will make for a good ongoing as well. I don't know if it's going to last past issue 5, but yeah, I don't think it's great. I think it's just okay with really mediocre art. It would be amazing art if it was a different book. If it was Doctor Strange, if it was that Deadpool book, for a while ago, if it was even Fantastic Four, Chris Bachalo would be perfect for Fantastic Four. But no, they stuck him on Spider-Man, and they're sticking him on grounded street level books, and he doesn't work for street level books. I don't understand the non-stop thing as well. You'd think in the first issue they would really play that up, and they would really have like, right, we're throwing everything at Spider-Man. Right, he's gonna fight like one of his really low end like D tier villains like Chameleon first, and then when he leaves that fight, Kraven fucking shoots him with a tranquilizer dart, and he's in the middle of nowhere with like Scorpion and Green Goblin to the other side. You'd think that's non-stop Spider-Man. Here he's just fighting some drug dealers, and then a rocket comes out of nowhere, and there's more drug dealers, and then they take a break in the middle of the story to go to a wake, which is specifically stopping in a book called Non-Stop Spider-Man. That's so weird to me. And it's not like that's the only break. There's two scenes where they show like a wake, and then they show like Spider-Man research or Peter Parker researching something. So yeah, it doesn't really live up to the name, and it doesn't live up to the hype, where it's like, this will be the most edge of your seat, blood pumping, pulse racing book of the year. And I read it and I was like, this is kind of crap. Wow. But yeah, I didn't enjoy this as much as I expected or wanted to. I don't understand why it's a mini either. I don't understand why this can't just be the story that's going on in Amazing Spider-Man, because I think it would be better with Patrick Gleason's art, and I think it would be just a better storyline if it was written by Nick Spencer. And also I think it's a better story than the story that they're doing in Nick Spencer's Spider-Man as well. It's just being handled very poorly, and I feel like Joe Kelly is writing this just to play into a gimmick, and he's not really playing into the gimmick. He's just like, this is a story I wanted to write, but it's also but Marvel has told him this has got to fill into a gimmick that we want to do, and it's a rubbish gimmick. It doesn't make any sense, but this is a gimmick, and it's also with a character that doesn't really fit that mold. If this was something like Non-Stop Quicksilver or Non-Stop Juggernaut or Non-Stop Hulk, then I feel like that would be the perfect thing for this. But no, it's Non-Stop Spider-Man, which, you know, doesn't really make sense to me. But anyways, that's kind of my thoughts on all the books that came out this week, or all the books that I read this week. I don't read a lot. I don't read like massive amounts of books. I don't read anything from DC or indie stuff at the moment. I want to get into those, but I'm currently just have the Marvel Comics app, and that's the only one that works on my phone for some reason. For some reason, Comixology just doesn't like my phone, and whenever I go to download something, it just says, no, there's an error. So yeah, I can only read Marvel stuff at the moment. But yeah, best book of the week, it's a toss-up between Eternals and Thunderbolts. I'm tempted to say Thunderbolts, just because of how much I just enjoyed it. And like, you don't really need to read anything else to jump into it. It's like 3 issues, bam, you're done, kind of thing. But Eternals is also shaping up to be a banging book. It's shaping up to be like one of my favourite books coming out at the moment from Marvel. So yeah. Anyways, I will be live again later on tonight with with some Injustice 2. I'm going to get this edited down and put up on the YouTube channel probably tomorrow or Sunday. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next stream. Peace.